The very moment you feel most confused is the moment when darkness is testing whether you still remember the light within you. My beloved child, it is in the silence you often mistake for emptiness that I am whispering the deepest truths. Do not let silence frighten you, for silence is not the absence of me, but the purest form of my presence. When the noise around you quiets down, when you no longer hear the voices of human advice or the familiar comforts, that is when you begin to hear me more clearly than ever before. Temptation often comes when your mind is at its weakest, and darkness will take advantage of the stillness to plant seeds of doubt, fear, and abandonment in your heart. But I say to you, do not fear the silence. It is not a meaningless void, but a sacred space for your soul to become attuned to the call of the divine. Do not expect me to shout over the storm just to capture your attention. I do not need to compete with the world to win your heart. I wait for you to choose me in the silence with your own will, with a deep longing, and with unwavering faith. The divine wisdom I've placed within you will only awaken when you learn to listen in the quiet. In those moments when every choice feels heavy, when discernment becomes difficult, retreat into the stillness of your soul, and let my words become the light that guides you through the shadows of confusion. You may think that silence is a form of abandonment, but it is precisely where you will encounter me most deeply. Like a patient father teaching his child to grow, I do not always intervene immediately, but I am always present. My silence is the space where your faith is refined, where your soul learns to mature under the shadow of absolute trust. So do not run from the silence. Step into it as you would enter sacred ground. Sit with an open heart and believe that even when you hear nothing, I am still whispering within you. I am here, and I have never left. Ender 4, my beloved child. You may have once believed that to be strong and worthy of your calling, you must rid yourself of all fear. But I want you to understand this. Greatness does not mean the absence of fear. Greatness is when you still choose to move forward, even when your feet tremble, even when your heart is heavy with things you do not yet understand. Fear is not failure. It is merely proof that you are standing at the edge of something significant. Those who are called for great purposes are never led down the easy road. They must face the depths, the difficult choices, the relentless temptations, and the haunting fear that they are not enough. But it is precisely in those moments that the light within you shines its brightest. Courage is not a roaring cry, but the quiet whisper in the darkness. I will keep walking. And every time you do just that, every time you choose to follow the call of heaven instead of the whispers of doubt, you are strengthening your soul, making it clearer, brighter, and bolder. You are not called to wait until fear disappears, but to act in the midst of trembling, knowing that I go with you, knowing that the greatness I have prepared for you does not depend on how you feel, but on your obedience. Do not let darkness deceive you into believing you are not enough. Do not wait until you feel perfect to begin obeying. The truth is this: you do not need to be perfect to be used by me. You only need a willing heart. You only need the courage to say yes when everything inside you wants to run. And when you choose to be faithful with trembling steps, you prove to all of heaven that your faith is not theory, it is living action. It is an unquenchable light in the night. So, my child, take hold of fear as part of the journey, and let me turn it into the stepping stone for your growth. Keep walking, even if you tremble, for every step taken in faith brings you closer to the greatness I prepared for you from the beginning. My beloved child, the enemy does not always appear as visible danger, but often comes in the form of whispers in your mind, questions, doubts, persuasivlis, It does not need swords or spears to bring you down. It only needs to make you forget the truth within you. And so, the greatest battle you will face is not external, but within your mind, where every thought could be an arrow aimed at the faith you are guarding. But you are not helpless. I have placed within your heart a power greater than any lie from the darkness: truth. Truth does not shift with emotion, does not waver with circumstance, and does not vanish in the storm. Truth is the unextinguishable light, my word etched into your soul since the beginning. When you face doubt, you do not need to scream louder than the darkness. You only need to stand firm in what you know is true. Remember this: you are not what the world says about you, not the failures you have experienced, not the mistakes the enemy tries to use to condemn you. You are the one I have chosen, anointed, destined to walk in power. Every time you declare that truth, every time you take my word and place it before the lies, you are fighting with the most powerful weapon of the spirit realm: truth. The truth sets you free not because it is comfortable, but because it has the power to cut through the invisible chains the enemy tries to bind you with. Do not let tormenting thoughts make you forget that you can resist. Do not let outside voices speak louder than my promises whispered inside your heart. Each time you feel attacked, pause and ask, is this truth from my Father? If not, cast it out like a stranger knocking on your door whom you have no need to let in. My dear child, truth is not merely what you know, it is what you live. Let my word be the sword always by your side, sharp, clear, and full of authority. And when you learn to fight not with emotion, but with truth, you will see that darkness cannot stand against a soul lit from within. My beloved child, perhaps you have asked yourself, why does temptation cling to me so relentlessly? Why do shortcuts and alluring calls from the shadows keep appearing just when I am drawing near to something that matters? Today, Cha wants you to see this clearly. Temptation is not a sign that you are lost. It is proof that you carry within you something so priceless that the powers of darkness tremble. Ordinary souls are not assaulted with such fury, only those destined for light, for power, for a mission that belongs to heaven are surrounded by the most seductive whispers. The enemy knows what you carry sometimes more clearly than you do. It knows that the light Cha has planted in your heart can flare and burn through every dark design it schemes. It knows that if you stand firm in faith, if you refuse to be swayed by sweet words and counterfeit promises, you will become a lamp that cannot be extinguished in the night of this world. And so it throws itself against you to draw you away from the treasure within you, your purpose, your influence, your calling, the light of Cha. Do not be fooled into thinking temptation proves you are weak. No, it testifies that you are nearing victory. The closer you press toward truth, the stronger the headwind. The nearer you step to the promised land, the higher the walls. Yet in this very struggle, Cha is forging you. Cha is sharpening your faith. Cha is showing you that you overcome not by your own strength, but by Cha's presence alive within you. So when temptation appears, do not be afraid. Smile and say, I recognize you, because I know I carry something that troubles you. Let the very presence of temptation ring like a bell, reminding you of your worth. Know this too, the more fiercely you are tested, the more deeply you are anointed. You were not destined to surrender, but to overcome. Each time you move through a temptation, you reclaim another span of territory within your soul for the kingdom of Cha. Walk with the awareness that you are not ordinary, that a treasure blazes within you, and every assault only throws that truth into sharper relief. My beloved child, Cha needs you to understand that this hour is neither random nor routine in the flow of your life. This is sacred time. the bell that marks your soul's turning from waiting to acting, from doubt to faith, from hesitation to obedience. Cha has opened before you a door, an opportunity fashioned uniquely for you from before all ages, within the loving design woven from Cha's own heart. This door is no aimless fork, it is the passage into your true commission, the place where every step you take will resound with life, with meaning, and with complete love. Cha knows there are moments when you feel you walk in fog, nothing looks clear. Your heart is pulled by many choices, many voices, many cares. Yet within that mist, Cha invites you to listen for the whisper of the Holy Spirit, a gentle yet sovereign voice leading you home. You do not need to see the whole landscape to move forward. You need only trust the hand of Cha holding yours. Do not wait until all is illuminated. For faith is not standing still until daylight floods the path. Faith is stepping when a single beam lights the next place for your foot, believing that light comes from Cha. The time you are living will not repeat itself in the same way. Each day that passes is a note in the sacred symphony Cha is composing just for you. If you let this moment slip, if fear or delay holds you back, you may fall out of the rhythm Cha is setting in your life. Cha does not threaten, Cha pleads with love. Awaken, rise, walk in the power Cha has placed in your spirit. You are not created to drift dimly through existence, but to shine like a lamp in the night, a bearer of love and hope to a world starving for truth. The forces of light are not standing still, though you cannot see it. A universe in motion turns around you, angels, prayers, holy arrangements Cha has already sent ahead to prepare each of your advances. What you dismiss as small a meeting, a word spoken, a door that opens unexpectedly, is a piece of the greater design Cha is painting. And in that design you are not a background figure but the focal point, the one who carries light, who bears a sacred mission no one else can fulfill. Do not let fear numb your heart. Do not let old wounds or past failures chain your steps. Cha does not look at you through the eyes of the world, nor does Cha weigh you by mistakes long gone. With Cha, every moment is a fresh chance. Every day, an invitation to return. Every breath, a spark of hope by which you can renew faith and courage. Your destiny does not rest in other hands, nor in circumstance. It rests in Cha's hands, and Cha placed it within your heart before all ages. Cha loves you. Cha believes in you. Now, beloved child, step through the door, my beloved child. You are called to live with unwavering trust that I am orchestrating all things, even when your eyes cannot perceive it. You are invited to walk in holy courage, knowing you are not alone, that all of heaven is cheering for you, and that my power surrounds and protects you. Let your soul become a sacred dwelling, a place where faith is nourished daily, where you learn to listen to the still, inner voice I have planted within you, and where you are no longer afraid to say yes to the great calling that echoes in your heart. My child, I know that sometimes my silence confuses you, but understand this, even in that silence, I am at work. In those moments when it seems like nothing is happening, I am laying the foundation for a miracle. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are being prepared, and this very moment, if you dare to respond, will become a divine turning point, ushering you into a life more complete than you've ever known. So, walk forward. My dear one, open your heart. Trust that if I have called, I will also guide. If I have opened the door, then all you need to do is walk through. Surrender every doubt, every limitation, every fear to me. And I will return to you a peace that surpasses understanding, a faith strong enough to move mountains, and a love deep enough to heal every wound. Do not delay. Do not wait. The moment is now. Let your life become a sacred yes. Let yourself become a living testimony to a God who is always acting, always loving, always calling his children into eternal life, not just someday, but beginning in this very moment. And I, as I have from the beginning, I am waiting for you, just beyond that door, the door that leads to your destiny, your purpose, and a love that never fades. My precious child, on this journey you are walking, there is a sacred lesson you must grasp and hold close with all your heart, the ability to discern between truth and deception, between light and darkness, between what comes from me and what is cleverly disguised by the enemy. I know that in these days, you are surrounded by many conflicting voices, alluring images that are beautiful yet hollow, promises that sound sweet but are poison inside. The enemy of your soul does not come with a terrifying face, but wrapped in charm and softness, in ways that appeal to your heart. It does not strike you down with violence, but blinds you with seemingly harmless distractions, comforting words, and easier paths that lead further from truth. It knows your weaknesses. It has watched you for a long time. It knows when you are most tender, when you yearn to be loved, to be seen, to belong. And those very yearnings, though deeply human and good, if not anchored in my truth, will become the gateway through which deception enters. The enemy will offer you things that appear beautiful, quick success, instant gratification, relationships filled with emotion, but lacking spiritual grounding. It will make you believe you are being chosen, cherished, when in fact it is slowly luring you away from the light I placed within you. You must stay alert. Learn to listen not only with your ears, but with your soul. Let the intuition I have placed in you become a warning bell when something is not right. Do not say yes too quickly just because something feels good. Do not entrust your heart to someone simply because they say what you long to hear. Let my words be your measure, the light that reveals every motive, every invitation, every path. There are things that look like blessings but are traps in disguise. There are people who come not to walk in truth with you, but to lead you away from the road I destined for you. You will come to realize that not everyone who smiles at you is truly for you. Not everyone wants what is best for your soul. Some are being used by darkness without even knowing it. And sadly, some are fully aware of what they are doing and still choose to sow confusion driven by envy, selfishness, or because they lost their own light long ago. In such moments, you must face the truth that some relationships must be released, not because you hate them, but because you love the truth. Love yourself, and love the plan I have for you even more. Setting boundaries with those who lead you away from your purpose is not coldness, it is courage and obedience. It shows that you understand your worth in my eyes, that you recognize the holy calling placed upon your life, and that you know nothing is more precious than living in alignment with what I have spoken. There will be times when you feel lonely for choosing not to follow the crowd, for saying no to the easy way. But remember, you are not alone. I am with you. And loneliness in the light is always better and more hopeful than joy in the shadows. Stand firm, my child. Believe that if I have allowed you to feel unsettled or uneasy in a relationship or a situation, it is not by accident. It is a wake-up call for you to pause and ask, am I still living in alignment with God's calling for me? And if the answer is no, then you already know what to do. Obedience often requires sacrifice. But sacrifices made for the sake of the light will always be repaid with something greater, deeper, and more lasting. And pray. My child, pray even for those you must distance yourself from. Do not grow bitter. Do not harbor resentment. Place them in my hands. Because I love them too, and I am calling them back to the light as well. Perhaps one day they will understand the path you chose and walk alongside you in truth. But whether they do or not, you must remain faithful to your path. Live as light in the darkness, as a gentle yet clear voice of awakening, not judging, but unshakably true. Let every decision you make today draw you closer to truth. Learn to say no to the invitations that do not come from me, without regret, because you know you are guarding what is most sacred, your soul and your living connection with your Creator. And I promise you, as you walk in obedience, I will send the right people into your life, those who will not only journey with you, but lift you up, make your light shine brighter, and help you weave a life filled with divine grace. My child, never forget, truth is not loud, but it is steadfast. Light is not boastful, but it reveals all. And my love for you never changes, never falters, never walks away, even when you do. You need only turn back, choose the light, say yes to the truth, and I will do the rest, protecting you, healing you, guiding you, because you belong to me, because you were created not to chase lies, but to live in everlasting light. My beloved child, in the chaotic current of today's world, I see clearly how your eyes have grown dim, clouded by the deceptive mists that swirl around you. Your heart seems to have been drawn into a labyrinth with no way out. You have strayed from the path I laid out for you, not because you do not love me, but because the enemy is cunning, persistent, and expertly disguised. They do not come with terrifying faces or blood-stained hands. They come cloaked in sweet words, in situations that appear harmless, and in subtle thoughts that slip into your mind during your most vulnerable hours. They use everything familiar to you, those you love, the environment you live in, the circumstances you endure, and even the deepest emotions within your soul to lead you ever further from the light. They paint grand illusions before your eyes, making you believe you are seeing truth, all while hiding the deceptive mask of lies beneath it. All, I know. Child, you never meant to leave me. I know that deep in your soul, you still long for the light, still yearn to be loved, still desire the true peace that only I can give. But my child, here is the truth. Not everything that shines is light. Not every voice echoing inside you speaks truth. Some whispers are sweet only on the surface, but beneath are hidden claws. Some of what you believe to be genuine feelings are actually the manipulations of darkness, carefully planted to distort your heart. I do not tell you this to frighten you, but to awaken you. Because if you continue to walk in darkness without pausing to examine the road you're on, it is only a matter of time before you fall into a pit so deep. No one can pull you out unless you call upon me. My child, I do not stand at a distance to judge or condemn. I am here, near, closer than you imagine. All it takes is for you to turn around, and you will see that my arms have always been open. I want you to understand, your wandering does not diminish your worth in my eyes. Your mistakes do not cancel my love for you. On the contrary, every time you stumble, my heart aches, because I cannot force you to love me, but I can never stop loving you. I am light, Yes, but I do not remain only in the light, waiting for you to find me. I step into the darkness to search for you, to whisper into your heart, do not believe what the world is whispering to you, for that is not my voice. End quote. Those who manipulate you will not stop. They will shift shapes, change tactics, and say they are helping you, that they are opening the way for you, that they are freeing you from bondage. But child, they are not freeing you. They are binding your soul with invisible chains, with false confidence, with gnawing insecurity, with a deep emptiness you cannot name. They are not leading you to freedom. They are pulling you away from your essence, away from truth, away from life, away from me. My beloved, pause. Listen for my voice. It may be soft, but it is powerful enough to stir every corner of your soul. Ask yourself, are you living in the light? Or have you grown so accustomed to the darkness that you no longer recognize your blindness? Let me be your mirror, so you may see yourself again. Let me be your lamp, guiding you out. Let me be your refuge, when you no longer have the strength to stand. For I have not come to accuse you, I have come to save you. I have not come to expose you, I have come to shield you from those who seek to destroy your soul. Remember this, there is no temptation too strong that you cannot overcome if you place your trust in me. There is no lie too convincing that it can silence the truth if you let my word be your foundation. And there is no darkness so thick that my light cannot penetrate. But you must choose. I cannot choose for you. You must see. You must believe. You must walk. Delay no longer. My child, each day you hesitate is a day the enemy sinks deeper roots into your heart. Each time you stay silent before the truth, you give space to falsehood. Yet all it takes is one plea from your lips, one genuine moment of repentance, and I will lift you from the pit. I do not demand perfection. I long for honesty. I do not expect you never to wander. I only hope you'll return. And when you do return, you will see that you were never truly lost. For I carried you in my heart every step of the way. You will see that what you thought were losses were actually opportunities for rebirth. You will see that every mistake, once surrendered into my hands, becomes a precious stone used to build a new life, a life no longer fooled, no longer manipulated, no longer bound by what does not belong to you. So then, my child, awaken, stop believing the lies. Open your eyes and see, truth still stands. Light still waits. And I am still your Father, never abandoning, never wearying, never giving up hope for you. No matter how far you've strayed, you can always return. And when you do, I will run to you. I will wrap you in my arms, wipe away your tears, and say, my child, you have come home. Now let us walk forward together. As my beloved child, I see every storm that rages within you, the silent moments when your tired eyes gaze into the distance. Your heart full of questions, unsure what is real and what is illusion. There are times in life when the darkness of doubt seeps into your mind, shaking everything you once believed. Lies, wrapped in sweet voices and persuasive reasoning, are whispered into your ear until you begin to falter, until you begin to question even the most sacred truths, even the love I have never ceased pouring out upon your life. You ask, is what I'm chasing even real? Is the quiet voice within me truly from God? Or just the echo of my own desire? But my beloved child, listen closely, for I do not come to rebuke you for your moments of doubt. I come to remind you, truth is never buried forever. And no matter how deeply it is hidden, It will always prevail. My beloved child, in the battle between light and darkness, between truth and deception, there are moments when falsehood seems to gain the upper hand, as if it has crushed every last glimmer of hope. It comes cloaked in advice that sounds reasonable, in thoughts that confuse your heart, in temptations that beckon you toward the easier shortcut rather than the path of the cross to which I call you. It seeps into your mind when you are weary, touches your emotions when you feel alone, and creeps into your soul with questions that appear harmless. Does God really love me? Am I truly on the right path? Is it really true that truth cannot be changed? But my child, in the very moments you ask these questions, I want you to remember this. Doubt is not failure, it is a doorway, a sacred threshold from which you can rediscover truth in deeper ways than before. I have called you my chosen not because you are stronger than others, but because I see within you a heart that can endure and grow through testing. You were not chosen to live an easy life, but to walk amid the noise and chaos of this world while still carrying the quiet strength of faith in your heart. I know you may stumble. I know there will be moments of confusion, but I also know that if you still long for the truth, you will find the light. For, my beloved, no lie can ever fully bury the truth. No matter how many stages the world sets, no matter how thick the shadows gather, the light of truth will pierce through them all. And when that truth is revealed, it will not need to argue. It will not need to explain, because its very presence will silence every lie and expose their true nature empty, powerless, and weak. Child, lies only hold power when you believe them. They only reign when you allow them a place in your mind. But the moment you rise, the moment you decide to choose truth, even if you do not yet fully understand it, the moment you say, I believe in your word, even though my heart trembles, that is the very moment darkness begins to retreat. That is the moment you are no longer your old self, but a warrior of light, a living testimony to the power of truth. Do not let cunning deceptions pull you away from what matters most. Truth is not a fleeting feeling, not a trend to be adjusted. It is a firm foundation rooted in the very heart of your Father. And once your life is built upon that foundation, you will not be shaken, no matter how fierce the storms may rage. Do you know, even when you doubt, I am not far from you. I still walk beside you in the dark, whispering softly into your spirit. Trust me. Hold on to my word. Do not let go. And when you choose to hear my voice, something miraculous happens. What once seemed strong dissolves like mist. The lies that once made you tremble lose their grip, and the sense of being lost is replaced by a quiet certainty that you belong to me, that you were created for the light, not confusion. So rise up, child of the light. Look straight into the lies that once held you captive and declare to them, I know who you are. You have no power over me anymore. Let my word be the sword that slices through every haze. Let my truth be the lamp that never goes out, leading you through the night into the dawn. Because here is the miracle. You do not need to understand everything in order to believe. You only need to believe enough to take one small step, and I will walk the rest of the way with you. I never ask you for perfect faith. What I long for is an honest heart. If you are weary, come to me. If you are still wrestling with doubt, speak to me. If you are in battle, allow me to fight alongside you, and then you will see. It is not because you are so strong that you overcome it. It is because you have recognized your weakness and placed yourself in the hands of the Almighty. Truth will triumph not through noise, but through enduring silence. not through violence, but through an unquenchable light. And when that truth ignites within you, it will not only rescue you, it will make you a lighthouse for others struggling in the night. Believe this, my child. In the end, light will always overcome darkness. Truth will always outlast lies. And my love will always remain when all else fades away. So keep walking. Even if your steps are trembling, keep believing. Even if your heart is unsure, for when you choose truth, you are choosing me. And when you choose me, you will never be put to shame. I am still here, waiting for you, with unwavering love that has no end, from everlasting to everlasting. My beloved, if your heart is in turmoil right now, if you feel lost amid the voices surrounding you, if you are stretched thin by lies, fear, and the weight of helplessness bearing down like a storm with no escape, I want you to pause, listen deeply, and remember this: you are not alone. I know there are days when everything seems shattered, moments when it feels like you are sinking into a mire of doubt, where the more you try to rise, the deeper the pit pulls you down. But it is in these very places when you feel you've reached the end of your strength, when confusion floods your soul, when faith feels all but gone, that I can reach you most powerfully. Because, child, when you have nothing left to cling to, that is when your hands can finally grasp mine. The Word of God is not a meaningless string of sounds, nor ancient letters drained of life. No, it is life itself. It is power. It is everlasting truth. Let that word be the sword that slices through every veil of deception surrounding you. Let it be the light that cannot be extinguished, guiding you through the dark. The lamp that shows you where to place your feet when you no longer know which way to turn. Do not believe the whispers of the enemy trying to convince you that you are weak, that you've failed, that you've been abandoned and no one cares. That is the most dangerous lie of all, for it not only causes you to doubt yourself, but also to doubt my love. My child, I have never and will never abandon you. Even if you distance yourself from me in your weakness, even if your heart grows cold from exhaustion, my love still burns for you, unchanging. The enemy wants you to believe you are alone in this battle, but the truth is, you carry within you the power of the Creator of the universe. You are the dwelling place of the divine. You possess a strength you have yet to fully uncover. And when you stand firm on the foundation of my word, you are not merely surviving, you are a warrior. Not a feeble one barely hanging on, but a victorious warrior. Because you fight not by your own might, but by the strength that flows from heaven. You don't need to understand everything to believe. You don't need to have answers to take the next step. You only need to believe that my word is true, that I do not change, that my word is your fortress, your anchor amid the storm. If you allow my word to dwell in your heart, you will no longer fear the darkness, because the light within you will shine into the shadows. My wisdom will replace your confusion. Faith will drive out anxiety, and hope will scatter despair. My beloved child, remember this: every time you open your mouth in prayer, you are pushing back the darkness. Every time you read my word, you are building a spiritual fortress around your heart. And every time you choose to stand for truth, even when it costs you misunderstanding, pain, or rejection, you are walking beside me in victory. The enemy is not afraid of a vague, lukewarm faith, but he trembles before a soul that dares to place its full trust in my promises. Even when the storms rage all around, you are loved with a love that is unconditional. No circumstance can alter that love. No distance can diminish it. and no power, whether lies, sin, wounds, or even death itself, can separate you from the love of your Father. This love is your foundation, the solid ground beneath your feet, so you may not be shaken by empty promises, misleading temptations, or the seeming ease of paths that only lead astray. I do not promise you will never be wounded, but I promise you will never be crushed. I do not promise you will never weep, but I promise that I will personally wipe away every tear from your eyes. So, my dear child, when you feel trapped, return to my word. When you can no longer fight, let my word fight for you. When you forget who you are, let my word remind you that you are a child of the King of Kings. Stand firm on that word. Believe that no darkness can extinguish the light that comes from me. And when you dwell in my word, you will not only find your own way out, you will become the path that leads others to the truth. You will no longer be the one trapped in fear, but the one who carries hope. You will no longer drown in lies, but stand firm on the living and unchanging truth of your Father. You are more than a conqueror, not because you face no trouble, but because in every trial, you have one who walks with you. You have my living word as your weapon. You have my eternal love as your armor, and you have my name as your fortress that no enemy can invade. So lift your head high, tighten your grip on faith, and walk forward in this light that never fades, for you are not alone, and you will never be defeated, because you belong to me, my beloved child. In this chaotic world where light and darkness wrestle fiercely over every soul, I see you standing in the midst of the battlefield, fragile, vulnerable, yet full of potential and strength. For you are a child of the living God. You are not just another soul among countless lives scattered across the earth. No, you are chosen, sanctified, and called out of darkness to walk in a divine purpose I crafted for you before the foundations of the world. And for that very reason, you have become a target of the enemy. He knows you belong to me. He trembles before your spiritual future. He panics at the power you carry when you walk in truth. And since he cannot change my choice for you, he will do everything in his power to stop you from discovering and fulfilling it. Do not be surprised, my child, when you find yourself surrounded by conflicting voices, seemingly easier paths that lead only to separation, or decisions that burden your heart with uncertainty. These are not signs that you are weak or worthless. They are proof that you carry a purpose so important that darkness fears your awakening. The enemy will never waste his efforts on a soul that poses no threat to him. But you are different. He knows you are the vessel heaven wants to use to break open the way for light. He knows you are the lamp that can shine into the very corners he wants hidden. And so he will use every trick, every deception to confuse you. He will plant fear, doubt, feelings of unworthiness, and the thought that you've lost your way. He will distract you with the insignificant so that you no longer have the strength to focus on what I have destined for you. But, my beloved, you do not need to fall into those traps. You do not need to walk the path the world calls wise, but is steeped in deception. You are not bound by the voice of failure, by your past, or by the judgments of others. You have been given tools from the heavens, the full armor of God, and the weapon of truth. Do not let them gather dust in the corner of your soul. Put on that armor every day. Take up the sword of truth. Wear the helmet of salvation, the belt of righteousness, the shoes of peace, and lift high the shield of faith. For when you walk clothed in this spiritual armor, not a single arrow from the enemy can pierce through. The enemy cannot steal the choice I made for you. but he can try to make you forget it. He can wear you down until you lose sight of why you're even fighting. But let me remind you, you fight not to become loved, but because you are already loved. You do not carry your cross to earn my acceptance, but because you have already been accepted. My decision to choose you has never changed, not when you fell, not when you slowed down. Your divine purpose still awaits. And every step you take back to me, every time you choose truth over lies, every whisper of, "Father, help me stand," draws you closer to the mission I've placed upon your life. Do not let the mocking laughter of the world make you give up. Do not let human silence convince you that you are alone. Do not let failure fool you into thinking you have been disqualified. In my eyes, you have never been removed from the plan. Every breath you take is a reminder that your calling still stands, that heaven's gates remain open, and that I am still waiting for you to rise in courage. You do not need to be strong in the way the world defines strength. You only need to be honest before me and willing to take another step, even if your feet tremble. I will be your strength in weakness. I will be your light in the night, and I will be your refuge when all else collapses. My child, live with the conviction that you are chosen not because you are perfect, but because I am perfect in my choosing. Hold that truth like a precious jewel in your heart, so that when the enemy whispers you're not enough, you can look him in the eye and say, "I am chosen by love," and that love cannot be shaken. When you carry the truth within you, lies will not sweep you away. When you dwell in my word, darkness cannot blind you. And when you understand your worth in my eyes, you will no longer feel the need to prove yourself to the world. Then you will see what once looked like stumbling stones will become launch pads. The wounds that once brought you to your knees will become testimonies of my healing. Your scars will no longer be reminders of pain, but medals from your journey of faith. And in that moment, no power will be able to deny that you are a child of God, chosen, anointed, and equipped to fulfill the mission I have written in love since before time began. Sorrise. My beloved, put on your armor. Grip the truth tightly. Walk forward with the confidence that you do not fight alone, and that victory has already been decreed for all who place their trust fully in me. My beloved child, in the midst of a world glittering day and night with dazzling lights, seductive voices, and sweet yet empty promises, I know the inner turmoil you are facing. There are moments when you find yourself standing at the crossroads of choice. On one side, the path of truth that is arduous yet firm, and on the other, alluring shortcuts that seem gentle and easy, but are laced with deception. The enemy does not come to you with roars or terrifying images, but with soothing whispers, with eyes that feign concern, with glittering veils that conceal inner decay. He does not push you to fall, but gently invites you to walk, step by step, by your own will, softly, sweetly, and quietly, drawing you away from the light. My child, do not let that deception blur your spiritual vision. Do not be swayed by promises that flatter you with, "You deserve everything," right now, without waiting, without obedience. These are lies meant to pull you away from the sanctifying work I am carrying out in your life. For anything that comes swiftly without sacrifice, anything that shines without a solid foundation, anything that entices but lacks spiritual roots is but an illusion. Quick successes without my refining will leave behind a hollow ache. Relationships not built on truth and divine love will cause you to lose yourself. Physical pleasures, not woven with holiness, will burn your soul without leaving behind any true light. The enemy will try every way to convince you that there is an easier path than mine. He will parade before you others who seem to be succeeding without carrying the cross, who seem happier without surrendering anything. He will paint vivid scenes to make you believe I am holding you back, that my words are chains, that obedience is slavery. But child, the truth is the opposite. My word is the very path to freedom. Obedience is where you discover the meaning of your life. It is through letting go of the temporary that you take hold of the eternal. Look more closely at what the world calls happiness, and you will see behind the polished surface lies a soul thirsting for what is real. Listen more carefully to the laughter that fills the air, and you will find many hearts weeping in the night. Because anything not rooted in me, no matter how brilliant, will eventually wither. But whatever comes from me, even if it arrives slowly, even if it requires waiting, even if it comes through sacrifice, will always carry abundant life and unshakable peace. I did not create you to live in illusion. I created you to live in truth, in real love, in steadfast faith, in enduring hope. I do not call you to flee suffering, but to walk through it with me. For in every step that seems hard and heavy, you are being refined, strengthened, and given a vision far beyond the reach of empty promises. You do not need to chase the world to be seen. You have already been seen and acknowledged by me. You do not need to sell your soul to feel loved. You are already loved with an everlasting love. You do not need to seek peace in falsehoods. True peace is waiting for you in my embrace. Therefore, my child, be alert. Do not quickly believe everything that sounds good. Pause whenever your heart is stirred by a sweet invitation, and ask yourself, does this come from my Father? Let my word be your compass in every step. Let my truth be the light that cuts through every veil of deceit. And remember, when you choose truth, even if it costs you much, you are not losing, but safeguarding your soul, which is more precious than any crown the world can offer. My beloved, I know you have been hurt, have been disappointed, have felt abandoned by those who once stood by your side. But do not let those experiences become the foundation upon which you build your future. Do not let past pain become your excuse to choose the easy way. Instead, let every wound be a reminder that you need me more than ever. Let the truth, even when it compels you to confront yourself, become your companion on the journey of living authentically. Let yourself be not only the one who escapes deception, but also the one who awakens others from the slumber of this world. The enemy does not fear your material poverty, but he trembles before a soul rich in faith. He does not fear your obscurity, but he shakes when you walk in the light with integrity. He is not afraid of your failures in the world's eyes, but he panics when you succeed in remaining faithful to the end. So, my child, be courageous. Dare to refuse the easy invitations and walk the narrow but solid path. Remember, true happiness does not come from having everything, but from knowing you are on the right path and knowing that I am holding your hand every step of the way. You do not need the world's approval to know your worth. You do not need empty promises to feel hope. You need only one thing, to hold tightly to my truth in your heart, to live fully in faith, and to walk daily in the light. And I promise you, no deception will overcome you when you stand in truth. No illusion can lead you astray when your hand is in mine, and no fleeting pleasure can replace the eternal joy I have prepared for those who remain faithful until the end. So, my beloved child, return, look again, choose the light, and as you walk with eyes opened by truth, you will no longer fear being deceived, for you will clearly see what leads to life. What is false? What brings eternal joy? And what is but a passing mirage? I am still waiting, always loving, and forever leading you in truth. My beloved child, in a world so full of chaos, where each day rushes past drenched in hurry, where the voices of the world relentlessly call your soul with hollow promises, I know there are times you ask yourself, which path is right? Which road truly leads to the wholeness your heart longs for? My child, among countless choices and tempting promises, I want you to etch this truth deep into your soul. There is only one true path to fulfillment, and that is the path of my word. Only in my word will you find a peace untouched by circumstances, a joy unfaded by time, and a meaning that cannot be replaced by anything else. The world may offer countless formulas for success, happiness, and satisfaction, wealth, status, recognition, pleasure, even knowledge clothed in human wisdom. But be cautious, for these things, though they may bring fleeting gratification, are nothing but illusions. Once you reach for them, they vanish like sand slipping through your fingers. They cannot satisfy your soul, for you were made to live in a sacred reality, where my word is your sustenance, your breath, your guiding light. You are not merely a body seeking happiness, you are a soul longing to return to its true source. In the book of Proverbs, I have spoken, for the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Know this, child, that wisdom is not the knowledge of this world, it is light from above. It is the ability to see beyond appearances into the true nature of things. That wisdom gives you spiritual eyes to discern truth from falsehood, to recognize which path is mine and which detour is masked by the enemy. That wisdom will not force itself upon you, but it is always present, ready to pour out on anyone who seeks it with a sincere heart and a hunger for truth. O chosen one, you are not a helpless victim in this invisible war, but one whom the Father has fully equipped if only you choose to return to his word. When faced with temptation, when your heart is swayed by easy promises, when your mind becomes clouded by arguments clothed in the names of freedom or self-determination, stop and return to the voice of your Father. It is there, in that sacred place, that you will hear him whisper, "Walk in the light, for I am the way, the truth, and the life." My word is not a collection of dry rules, it is life itself, the unchanging truth, the solid foundation for every decision, every emotion, and every action you take. Remember, my child, you must choose. I will never force you, for true love always allows freedom. Yet in that freedom lies the power of your choice. You may choose the words of the world, words steeped in deception, or you may choose my word, the word that gives eternal life. And every day, every moment, you are given the opportunity to decide whom you will listen to, whose call you will follow. You may choose the ease of today, but it will cost you the lasting peace your soul longs for. Or you may choose to carry the cross, to turn away from alluring voices, to remain faithful to my word, and then you shall find yourself stepping into a glory that nothing on this earth can offer you. My beloved, I know there are times when my word seems hard to understand, difficult to obey, and even contrary to your desires. But trust me, every sentence, every word carries life within it. Even when you do not yet see the results, even when you do not feel the transformation, the seed of my word is still growing silently in your heart, preparing you for a harvest overflowing with fruit. Do not be discouraged when change feels slow, for my word never returns void. It will fulfill all that I have destined in the most perfect and appointed time. And when you seek my word faithfully, when you open your heart like a thirsty field, longing for rain, I will pour out upon you not only wisdom, but steadfastness, rest, and a joy that nothing can shake. Then, even if storms rage around you, your soul will remain at peace. Though the world trembles, your mind will be clear and sound. Though others may abandon you, you will still know you are loved. You are chosen. You are held in my keeping. So, my child, hesítate no longer. Return to my word like a weary traveler, longing for a pure, life-giving spring. Let that word take deep root in your heart, becoming the foundation for everything you live. Every decision you make, every path you take. Do not let lies cover your eyes. Do not let false lights lead you away from the rising sun of truth. For there is only one road that leads to abundant life, and only one path that brings you into true peace, the path I have already set before you through my word. You are the chosen one. You do not need to follow the crowd. You do not need to bow before fleeting trends. You need only to live your calling, to be a child who lives by my word, walks by faith, and carries the wisdom that comes from above. And this I promise you, if you seek, you will find. If you knock, I will open. If you choose my word, you will never walk in confusion or be lost. Amen. As a child of God, know that I am beside you in every moment, always reminding you to live in faith and in the loving trust of your Father. Follow me and turn on your heart's alertness so you never miss a single word I speak from the heights of heaven. Amen.